afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from the fabulous Greystone Studios in beautiful Clearwater, Florida. We bring you the Pete OShea Show with co-host Wade Williams. A daily dose of inspirational talk, music, and good news from around the world. And now the biggest man in worldwide entertainment, and I do mean big, it's the Pete OShea Show!
Hey, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of the Pete OShea Show right here for you right now on the Choice Radio Network. I'm your buddy, Pete OShea, and you're saying, where is he? Where is Wade Williams? Where is he? I can't. He's still in the hospital, boys and girls. All right, we got to pray him through this, okay? Last night, another really bad pain episode where he had to be rushed to the hospital in the middle of the night. I get the phone call around 2 a.m. from him, and it was really, really scary. But he's settling down now today and feeling a lot better, and we're loving on you, brother. I know you're listening right now. He's actually texting me right now what to say, as a matter of fact. From the emergency room, he still texts me and tells me what to do. Still give me points and tell me what to do. God bless you, brother. We need you better. We need you long-term better. So we're praying you through. And on the board right now, as he always is, I'm pretty sure he lives here. Do you live here, Ivan? Do you actually just live here? I'm not really sure. I never noticed. You're always here, though. Do you actually live here on campus?
No, just show up on time.
You just show up on time like nobody else, right? Ivan Miranda on the board right now. The Whisperer. All right, we got a really good show for you today. We got a lot of guests. So many cool stuff. It's not even funny what's going to be going on today. All right, we'll take a break. We come back. Tim Horton's next, and after that, we're going to hear Julian's story. We're halfway through with the Pete OShea Show. We got another half to go. Every day, 3 to 6, we're right here with you to tell you about great people doing amazing stuff. You need your place cleaned, you got to call these guys. You got to go to the website and clean up or shut up.
.com.
We'll be right back. I love you and I love Jesus.
Live from Clearwater, Florida, it's the Pete OShea Show, starring Pete OShea, with musical accompaniment by, I don't know, some MP3 track the engineer in the other room's finding on the floor. Coming up on today's show, Kelly Ripa from Live with Kelly, and whatever random celebrity the NBC, ABC, TV execs can find wandering around New York City with 3 hours to kill. Then later, Matthew Perry. No questions about Friends or his new TV show, The Odd Couple. What we really want to know is why a fully grown man with no kids has an entire room full of Batman toys in his house. But first, Pete's guest, Tim Horton. No, not the coffee company guy, some random old ex-radio guy with nothing better to do on a Tuesday afternoon. And now here's your host, Pete OShea.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you. Oh, no. Thank you. Please. I appreciate you. Hey, guys. Welcome to the show. Now, you recognize that voice. If you do recognize that voice, then you are a country music fan. Because my guest here, Tim Moore, has spent 20 years doing country radio, music radio. He was part of those early days of the Nashville Network when cable TV was new. Remember back in those days? He's an old ex-radio guy. He knows everything, knows everyone in country music. He was part of the team that created the Nashville Network, and in those early days, he was a host and announcer for the Grand Ole Opry. And so we thought it'd be interesting for you guys to hear some of the stories. Turns out he's also an entrepreneur and a venture capitalist based right here in Tampa. Yep. And he said that's what he wanted to talk about as well. So we're so glad that he's here with us right now. Tim Horton, what's going on, buddy?
It's Tuesday. It's fun.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's fun. We're live.
And I'm glad to participate in your new toy, your new...
A new venture.
Your new deal. Yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah. All right, so last week we had Murphy Dunn on, who was part of the Blues Brothers. He was the piano player for the Blues Brothers. And he mentioned Stax Records in Memphis. Some other amazing artists came out of there, too. I looked up in the studio, and you were laughing in the control room. It turns out you know those guys.
Yeah, because Murph was talking about Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper. And a bunch of those guys were studio musicians at Stax in Memphis. I was a junior high, early high school kid hanging around. My best friend's dad owned Stax Records, and so we hung around. We were down there. And it's one of those life experiences where you don't appreciate it at the time because all these people went wandering through Stax. I mean, Isaac Hayes and Rufus Thomas and Al Green and Martha and the Vandellas and Billy Joel and ZZ Top and all these people, but they were all just folks wandering through, and you're a kid, and it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Hi, Rufus.
Hi, Rufus.
Yeah, and now, Isaac Hayes is famous, and he's on The Simpsons as the chef. He's passed away now, but, later on all these people, become big deal. Elvis was around. Elvis was not a big deal. He lived in a big house on the other side of town, but in that era, that was the Vegas Elvis era, right? So he wasn't a big deal in Memphis anymore. Everybody knew E, So it was a weird time. But those experiences aren't what were memorable to me. There was a DJ across town, and you'll appreciate this. There was a DJ across town named George Klein, who was a friend of Elvis's. And I wanted to grow up, what do you want to be when you grow up, little boy? I wanted to grow up and be George Klein. So I went off to college and campus radio stations and all kinds of stories. It's doesn't matter here, but, turned into a radio exec guy because I wanted to be, I can't sing. So I didn't want to be Al Green. I wanted to be George Klein.
Turned out really well for you.
Very self-aware. Don't ask me to sing.
I can't sing either. I can sing in the shower. There's really good aquacoustics in there, but other than that, I can't sing.
No
either.
Critics.
Yeah, no critics in there either. All right. All right, so listen, you were telling me off the air, we want to talk about this the next time on Shark Tank? Let's talk about Shark Tank. You said it's unrealistic, that show, Shark Tank. Why?
Yeah, I have a long rant. We'll do the short version. But the Shark Tank TV show is really manufactured entertainment. There's nothing wrong with it specifically, but you're not going to learn anything about how to be an entrepreneur, how to start a business, or how to run a business any more than the Kardashians TV show will teach you how to be a celebrity media person.
Right.
They focus on what they call the pitch, but all the work that it takes to build a business to get up to the idea and build it before the pitch, and all the hard work if you get the deal, you get the venture capital funding after the pitch, is what really makes it into a business. And they focus on that entertainment segment of just the pitch, and that's very, very misleading. I go to a lot of events around Tampa, and an entrepreneur, a venture is looking for funding, but the Shark Tank show tends to make you want to think you're running around looking for Santa, not a real investor in your business. So,
yeah, and I want to smack Mr. Wonderful, too, by the way. He's really annoying. I find that guy extremely annoying.
Well, that's the way he is, and his personality really comes across that way. By accident, long before the show, I bumped into these people for one reason or another. Bought some stuff from Kevin. Know Mark Cuban from the early days with broadcast.com that nobody ever remembers anymore.
Right. That's where he got all his money from.
And that's where he got all his money from.
Yahoo gave $1 billion for that.
Exactly. And now Yahoo is, poor Marissa Mayer, is her career is going down in flames over, Verizon bought Yahoo and AOL, and they're going to push them together and make a new thing. Oh, I don't even want to go there. It's just bad.
This is amazing what you're telling us here now. Again, to start a business and to do it right, really those guys at Shark Tank aren't showing you anything. I want to keep you around for a while, so we're going to take a break here in a second. But before we do, you'll be able to tell us when we come back who and what some of these places, some of the people around here in Tampa are that are really doing it, making it happen.
We're really lucky in Tampa. I'm not here to sell anything. We're just hanging around having fun. But off the top of my head, I'll rattle off, grab a pencil, because there's a lot of resources unique to Tampa for folks, if you're thinking about starting a business or you've got the beginnings of one. Barbara was here earlier. She's been in business 30 years.
Right.
Well, there was a day when that was her first day and she didn't know what she was doing. Now she knows everything. So there's a lot of resources in Tampa, and I rattle some stuff off and get some folks in the right direction, and most of the help's free. It's nice.
And so we can actually do this. We can show them some of these things. Like, if they have that dream of Shark Tank, but they don't really have any idea of how to do it, there's resources available for them. There's a couple of points you're really going to show them, 2 points in particular, it's going to show them, no, it really can be done. Dreams can come true. Yeah,
and it's being an entrepreneur is a thing now, in quotes. It's an ego thing. They want to be an entrepreneur. But it's a learnable, teachable skill. It isn't always a step-by-step process, A to Z, to get it done. But most of the process to start and run a business is a teachable, learnable skill if you have somebody show you and teach you. And there's, including a couple of the universities around Tampa, USF and HCC, we'll talk about them. But, it's a learnable skill.
You also told me this, something really important. the inventor, the guy, the CEO, the startup guy, the visionary. He's really important, no doubt about it. But the next guys, the next people, the next ladies or men that come in after him, 2, 3, and 4 in particular, are as critically important. And it doesn't get done without that.
Right, and it's one of the things I don't have anything to sell. I go around to a lot of these social events, and I'm seen around. That's why you see the hat today, because one of my very first investments a very long time ago, back in the go-go 90s, was with a facial recognition software company. And it scared me so much that to this day, there are very few, if any, pictures of my face on the internet. People forget. You hear about the bombings in London, the train thing in Madrid, the recent thing in St. Petersburg, Russia. The reason they catch these folks is the facial recognition software that runs off those CCT cameras that we don't do in the States, but are pretty ubiquitous. So it's a thing where you just learn as you go, and we can cover it. It's not a problem.
So that's why you're wearing that protective headgear.
This is why I'm wearing the protective headgear. The pirate that you see here on the video stream is my pirate. Because I'm in Tampa, people go, "Oh, pirate." I have a lapel pin that matches this, you see. Mm. Oh, the pirate, you must be in the Gasparilla crew. No, I was a pirate, unrelated to Gasparilla.
Right.
If you go to my LinkedIn page, I'm a social media butterfly. So if you go to LinkedIn and search for Tim Horton, Lion, you'll see me and you'll see this pirate. But there's a story there I wrote about why entrepreneurs in 2017 should be like the pirates during their golden age of 1702. Pirates are not what most people think, and it's sure not Johnny Depp with Disney. But
no.
Pirates made do with what they had. They got up and got started, and they either succeeded or failed, got their buddies and pals like you're doing on the network here. You bring in all your shows. You make do with what you have. When you have a little success, you buy better toys and better ships, and, there's a whole, you can read about it on LinkedIn. But, it's a thing that is popular and trendy, but you don't have to be the inventor. I go around to these things and people say, well, wow, I'd really like to be Mark Zuckerberg, but I can't figure out how to invent the next Facebook. Well, I tell folks the number 2, the number 3, the number 4 employee in companies are just as critical as the founder.
Sure.
And the examples are easy. Steve Jobs is Apple. Everybody knows, Steve Jobs, Apple. And he came and went, and the corporation fired him. But Steve Wozniak, in the early days, was who made Apple's stuff.
Right.
Right? Serge and Brin invented this thing called a search engine that we call Google. You might have heard of Google.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it, yeah.
Well, when they hired a guy named Eric Schultz, they brought him in as the grown-up because the banks didn't want to loan money to these kids. They had a lot of money, they had a business, but the banks wouldn't loan money to these kids, so they needed to hire a grown-up. So they brought Eric Schultz in. Well, Eric Schultz is the reason that Google is now Android in the phones, Google Maps, artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, all the things that we now know Google is, all exist not because of Serge and Brin, not that they didn't contribute, but it all happened because of Eric Schultz. So being the next guy or the first guy hired or the 4th employee of a company has value. Every skill set's important.
Like Paul Allen at Microsoft.
And Paul Allen, Microsoft. Yeah.
Like Bill Gates is the visionary. He's the one that had the whole thing. But again, Paul Allen was the grown-up.
Right.
And now he went on afterwards to own several professional sports franchises and do pretty well for himself in his own right.
Yeah, I think he's got a few bucks.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
got
real
a few.
sure.
Yeah, he's got $1 or $2. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Bill has more. Bill has Warren Buffett money.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're okay with that. But I see exactly your point. So we want to talk more about this with you, Mr. Tim Horton. So we'll do this. We're going to keep you around. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk more with Tim Horton about this. But what does it take to do this? What's the resources around here? What are the 2 points that he can share with you that are going to help you if you're looking to be an entrepreneur? You got that entrepreneurial spirit, it's time. Let's do it. We'll show you how. Right here in Tampa, there's a lot going on for you. We'll tell you about it when we come right back. I love you and I love Jesus.
Do you like the Choice Radio Network? Tell your friends and family to download our app today on the Apple App Store or on Google Play.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. So glad you're here with us on the Pete OShea Show right here for you on the Choice Radio Network. I'm your buddy Pete OShea. My pal Wade Williams still out. He's in the hospital praying him through right now. Ivan Miranda on the board right now. We're talking here with Tim Horton. And what we're trying to do is figure out how to learn how to become an entrepreneur and what resources are available here for you in Tampa. So here's where we go, Timmy. Here's where we're going to start. Here's what I want to know is I got a great idea for a business. I got one sitting right here in my head right now. I know everything technical about that business, okay? But you're saying that it's different than just knowing how to run a business on a daily basis. You know, paying the rent and the taxes and stuff like that, right?
Right. Well, yeah, because if you have a good idea for a business, before you go rent office space, hire people, wouldn't it be nice to know if those Eskimos you're trying to sell ice to actually want to buy ice?
That would help, yeah.
Right? The old joke about, this guy's so smart he can sell ice to Eskimos. Well, Eskimos don't buy ice. So that's probably a pretty lousy business.
It's a bad business plan.
Bad business plan.
Yeah.
But there's probably some Eskimos that might buy, slushies. I don't know. We're kidding around. But yeah, so if you could, with planning, research the marketplace, research your customers, and know that there's 9 Eskimos in Nome, but not in Seattle, Washington, who will buy your ice. Now you know where to put your office, how big an office to buy, how many employees you need. It's a business plan.
See, don't waste 6 months trying to find stupid stuff and going after chasing rainbows. Do it right.
And wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. And, if you can't sell anything, you got no money. If you got no money, your business fails. If your business fails, you're living in the basement with your mommy again. And mommy doesn't want you to come home and live in her basement, especially if you borrowed a bunch of money from her to start the business selling ice to Eskimos. Then she's really, really unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mommy, I'll do it. It's going to work, I promise.
Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't work so much.
Your mommy loves you. She'll give you the money, but probably not a good idea.
Not a good idea at all. All right, so then there is a step-to-step plan to it, to starting a business. So what does that cost? What's the variables involved?
Well, okay, so it depends on what the business is, and there's a huge variable there. But in the general terms, the point is these are skills that can be learned. You can learn to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be an accountant. You don't have to be a real estate agent to find the perfect space for offices. These are all outsourceable skills, but the general management are skills. So let's go someplace where the people have walked this path before or can teach it to you.
Okay.
Okay, so the obvious thing is the schools. USF has a thing, and by the way, I'll make sure that we get links to I'll mention a bunch of stuff real quick, and we'll get links on the Facebook page so people can find it.
Okay, good.
We'll put it in the comments below this post. But USF over in Tampa has a program called USF Connects. Bunch of smart folks, bunch of research folks. They have seminars on how to start a business, how to decide what the equity is, how to value your business. If you're going to sell shares of stock in your business to an investor, how do you do that? There's legal structures, how to do market research to figure out if there are Eskimos that'll buy your ice, all this stuff. It's all at USF. You can take it in classes. There's seminars, USF Connect, and we'll put it in the link. HCC has classes. There's a professor, Andy Gold, great guy, Beth Curley. They are professors with HCC, and they do similar classes. Andy Gold's got a 12-week kind of a quick start seminar.
That's Hillsborough Community College.
Hillsborough Community College. Covers all this stuff really quick, 12 weeks. And in fact, he has a program specifically for veterans. Folks retiring, looking to start a business. We think about MacDill, but people retire out of the service all over the world and literally come home
right
to
here.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just MacDill, but most people think it's MacDill. So he has a program specifically for those guys because their needs emotionally and financially and skill sets slightly different than the average bear who thinks they want to start a business doing whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So those things are those are sort of the obvious stuff. Then you've got Maverick Entrepreneurs. Erica Drake runs a thing called Maverick Entrepreneurs. It's kind of a hybrid. A lot of training, a lot of classes, weekend-long, compressed boot camp. Right? And covers all the stuff, works on your books, crunches it 4 to 6 businesses whoever they are, for one weekend, bouncing ideas off each other, crunch it down, get you started, and then continuing training for your specific issues, problems going forward, and helping you looking for investors and stuff. So Maverick's kind of cool, different business model. And then there are resources that are kind of social and learn by being a sponge. You'd go to Tampa Bay Wave. Links in the notes we'll stick in here. Tampa Bay Wave's an incubator and a space with you can rent co-working space if you need just enough office space for 2 desks, you and your partner, stuff like that. Get you started. And Tampa Bay Wave's really cool because Linda and Daniel are social. They've got a lot of events you can attend, group education. You're in the room with others, bouncing ideas off each other. They've got about 300 entrepreneurs that have gone through there.
Wow. 300 different entrepreneurs have gone through there?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And about 100-something companies over the life cycle. So, I mean, they're not fooling around. These are people who really know
what they're doing.
What they're doing, and that's probably who you ought to learn from. On a further down the social scale, there's a thing called 1 Million Cups, run by the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City. Very, very cool. Every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., there's a Million Cups meeting in Tampa at Mark Sharp's Entrepreneur Center in Ybor City. You know Mark.
I love Mark Sharp.
Yeah.
Great guy. He was a guest on my show.
And then they have a Million Cups meeting Wednesday at 9 a.m., same time, in St. Pete at Greenhouse, downtown St. Pete.
Okay. And
entrepreneurs and people with a business idea or something that's up and just barely running, needing investors, or what they're pitching, like similar to a Shark Tank, to a group of everybody who attends. And that's a social thing, a learn from each other. Last week I saw you pitch your business. This week, and I told you my opinion of what you said. This week I'm going to pitch my business, and I'm going to get feedback from you.
Okay.
Week in, week out, every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Those are, in fact, those are a lot of fun. They're very social. And then localshops1.com. Localshops1.com is a collective of small businesses, restaurants, cleaning services like you just had in here, folks that do building and automotive repair and a whole mixture of stuff. Their thing is shop local, buy local. It's true to build an economy, a local economy. You want to spend as much money as you can, in your town. Not to hate on Walmart or Amazon.com, but if you buy something from Walmart or Amazon.com, the money goes to Bentonville, Arkansas.
It goes to billionaires.
And to California.
Yeah.
But if you buy that same something from Bob's Shoe Store, I checked that name, there is no Bob's Shoe Store, but if you buy something from Bob's Shoe Stores in downtown St. Pete, the money goes into his bank account, goes into a local bank. He spends the money with the local bank buying the office cleaning that they were just talking about in your last segment.
And the office supplies from Barb and so on and so on.
And so all the money stays in, it's called Velocity, but the money stays right here in Tampa Bay, right? Then there's other, depending on what your skill set is or what you're interested in, there's other educational stuff. Iron Yard is very cool if you're looking to learn how to code, right? You want to know how to make websites. If you want to build your own app, you got a business, you want an app, but you don't want to pay some guy $2,000, you can learn to write your own app. It is not as easy as I'm going to make it sound, but those are skills you can learn. Iron Yard has classes, training, social, seminar. Again, all this stuff's all wrapped up together. And here's an amazing one. You're going to love this. I like mentoring the kids. There's a guy named Ralph Smith. There's a program called Computer Mentors in Tampa. It's got 4th graders, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, kids, some of them from the hood, writing code, websites, apps for the phone, right? Real stuff. Computer Mentors. Google it, Computer Mentors Tampa.
Dude, this is amazing right here in town.
Right in town. And it's just neat. And it gives these kids a vision of a future and a career. And they do industry training. We were picking on Bill Gates and Paul Allen, but they do Microsoft certified training at computer mentors. So you've got kids that are 8th graders that have computers, they're certified Microsoft experts in this software, Office and the various products that are in 8th grade.
Wow. And
You go to some of these businesses that want to fix your Microsoft Office, those guys are billing $35 and $40 an hour, and here you got some 8th grade kid that can do it.
So you're really showing us there's a lot here, right here in this area, and the dreamers can still dream, brother. There's still a chance to go out there and dream if you do it right. If you understand the process, you got to get a better close-up look of how it works, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, architects had to go to school to learn how to stack bricks on top of each other, so you end up with a 40-story building, right? Dentists got to go to school to learn which tooth to pull and how to, I don't know, whatever dentists do. But the point is, yeah, this is all a learnable skill that you need on top of whatever you're an expert at to open your business. Or if you're going to retail stuff, you found a wholesale connection of, widgets, and where you can retail them and make money in between. You need a website, you need an app, you need social media, all this stuff. They're all resources.
So going back to that second point then, it's really about understanding who's available here in this town, who are the resources that you can get to. If you're an inventor and you want to get involved in all of this, you want to do something, you're an entrepreneur, it's a skill you can learn. You can learn, you can't maybe learn how to invent that actual thing, but you can learn how to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's communities that are popping up. That's why Tampa's a little bit unique. I'll pick on Mark Sharp again. Mark's working out there in the USF area at what used to be called, I guess it's still called University Square Mall. They're converting that whole mall, which are dying. Malls are over. That's 1986. They're converting all these malls to economic drivers. So Mark's got the Innovation Alliance that's based out in that area in the mall. And so they've got Startup World of Beers out there. They've got research facilities at Moffitt Cancer out there. All that type stuff is being built around that hub of that area. They're focusing, so the jobs are there, the housing's there, cuts down the traffic. People aren't trying to drive clear down to silly downtown Tampa to some tall building downtown for their job. They can live and work in the USF area.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, wrap this up for me. Give me the final thought.
Well, the final thought, I guess, is, I'm not here to sell anything. If you've got a good idea, as a matter of fact, if you have a great idea and you need funding, call me. I'm only half kidding. But being an entrepreneur is a learned skill. You can do it. If you have a good business idea, you can learn how to do it correctly.
Right.
And the joke I make in some of these social situations is, I'll either help you or I'll crush your dreams. Because if you have an idea that is not a viable idea, and quite frankly, I come across more of those, statistically, that's true. But if you have an idea that's not a viable business for whatever reason, wouldn't it be nice to know up front before you spent 2 years wasting your time and all of mommy's money that you borrowed and end up back in the basement living at mom's house? Either pivot the business, change the business, modify the business so it's going to be successful, or go find something else.
And you made another point here before we went on air. If you're a guy that sells peanut butter, maybe you want to line up with a guy that sells jelly, and come together and then split the work, split the risk, and make a better product.
Absolutely, and that's another common example I use. Back to all these resources and all this social stuff.
All right.
If you're the guy who invented peanut butter, you think you got it all together, and you may or may not be right. Lots of peanut butter gets sold.
Yeah.
But you'll
sell more of it.
But you'll bump into the jelly and jam guy going around Tampa to all these social events. Absolutely.
Absolutely right. All right, tell them what else they need to know about you. How they can't find anything out about you because you're hidden behind that thing.
Yeah, it's my ego. Like I said, I did radio for a long time. My ego is long since satisfied for being a star about anything.
Very good.
But go to LinkedIn, search for Tim Horton Lion. You'll see this pirate. And, invite me to be your friend. And if you've got a good idea, I'll listen. And I'm not interested in taking anybody's business or what have you. But if you got a great idea, sure, I'll invest in your business, and we'll both be Warren Buffett.
There it is. Warren Buffett right here. No, Tim Horton here, everybody. Check him out on LinkedIn. Brother, appreciate all this great information you're sharing with us today, all the great people you showed us about, talked to us about. I love Mark Sharp. Great guy.
Yeah.
Love what they're doing at HCC. Love what they're doing at USF, Tampa Bay Wave, Million Cups, Maverick, all these wonderful folks doing amazing work to help folks to make those dreams come true. You can be that inventor still. You can still do it. The American dream isn't dead, and he just showed you that.
And
Tim,
see, you're doing it here.
that's right. We're doing
You're
it right
doing
here.
it right now
We're doing it right
with
now
Choice.
with the Choice Radio Network.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Brother, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on today and sharing all this great information with us. We're going to take a break. We come back. I found out the story of this young man, Julian, his name is 14 years old. We're going to tell you his amazing, powerful story and how he needs our help. We need to come together as a community and help this young man. We need him. We need to do it. All right? I'm insisting. When we come back, I'll tell you all about it. I love you and I love Jesus.